every session. But anyway, good day, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Dr. Harmony and on your Paradis. We're coming in again every 2 weeks. We're going to drip on you some information about relationship. We call it Relationship Real Talk with Dr. Harmony and on your Paradis. So we're both ends of the country coming together to blend it, mix it up. And today, again, we come up with a different topic every other week. Now, this week is about commitment, anxiety, and fear of vulnerability. For both men and women, is the fear of making the wrong choice, right? In a world of endless options. It's interesting in my world in relationship coaching, and you're probably aware of this, right? There's always a polarity. So in every relationships, the ones that actually go on and work, even if they don't work, the ones that actually manage to kind of hook, one person is always afraid to get dumped more. The other one's afraid to lose themselves in a relationship more. So that anxiety comes from different places. One's afraid to get dumped, the other one's afraid to lose their mind, right? So, or to lose themselves. So one's more feminine, one's more masculine, sometimes inverted, but it's fascinating. So that's one of the fears that everybody's concerned with. And the other one is the anxiety about giving up freedom and risking emotional hurt. Obviously, for the ladies, for the men, sometimes pulling away when commitment feels emotional or chaotic, right? Is the reason why men pull away, because chaos and emotional chaos is opposite of peaceful. Masculine want peace, harmony, easygoing, warmth, right? So on the ladies' side is often they want more clarity about the future, like sooner than men seem to want it, right? Where's this going? Where's this going? Is something the ladies say a lot more. Now, this is interesting. Interpreting hesitance as a lack of interest of commitment. Interpret it, not reality, right? That's not what men do, but it looks that way. And again, that creates chaos and disconnect. So, and again, it's the whole thing that I'm going to talk about commitment, because ladies, I'm going to say this, is going to sound ridiculous, right? But men are not afraid of commitment. You are. You are. I guess the opposite of what we think is the truth. So we're going to go there, but Dr. Harmony, introduce yourself one more time and tell us why we're here. Me and you are here to help the world connect and kind of get in flow in the relationships that you and I have. We succeeded in having healthy relationships, right? We're just trying to pass it forward. So please go ahead.
Absolutely. And so I think this is our fourth podcast. I'm so excited. It's just getting juicier and chunkier and meatier. So I hope everybody's following along. And yes, we both are committed to helping others discover and create loving, long-term, fulfilling relationships that work for both of them. And I think we've said a lot, happy spouse, happy house. It kind of negates the whole happy life or happy wife, happy life, right?
Hello.
Happy spouse, happy house includes both, right? Because we're man, we're woman, and we're supposed to come together as one. Bingo. Oof. Right? And so, and I think it's going to be a great topic, because one of the things I think you hinted at, but I think you leave the some of the tougher conversations for the women to me, I think that they're just always looking for that BBD, that bigger, better deal. So they're afraid to connect, and that they're afraid to commit. And then that just comes from that whole not enough conversation, which of course we're going to jump in and dive in and really go through those nuances. But at the end of the day, they are misinterpreting what men are doing and thinking and saying, because what did we talk about last week, the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks? They're not listening. They're not listening.
Yep.
So so we're here again. Yeah. And that's our commitment. And we're just excited to be here and share our experiences and what we've done. I'm in a 25-year relationship, and Andre is got me beat by a little bit, 30 plus.
Yep. So I'd like to talk about, I just want to go there because you just mentioned it. I don't want to forget, like you said, women don't listen. You know what I mean? So again, in my world, it's actually because we speak and listen completely different as men and women. And most people aren't aware of this, because it makes no sense, right? Like I'm looking at you, I speak English, you hear the words that come out of my mouth, yet we're not communicating. It's really a big part of my work, the communication part, because we constantly miscommunicate, thinking the other one is hearing what we're saying. And when I speak to the ladies, what happens with because ladies with each other, you know this, right? As women talk together, for you guys, it's not necessarily the words that you choose that actually makes the communication. It's a tone of voice, it's a feeling, it's a volume. Do you know what I mean? You could say the word fine 16 different ways. It means 16 different things. Understand that for us men, we don't have that filter. So what happens is with you ladies, you can speak in hints and innuendos and know exactly what you're talking about. Like when my wife says to me, ask a question in front of a girlfriend, and she says, sure, right? I heard sure, or right, and all of her girlfriends are hearing that's a no, dude. You idiot, you missed it. The tone changes the words for you ladies. It doesn't for us. We hear the words, so that's like a big part of collision. So what happens is you ladies are listening for, again, when you're listening to a man, especially typically, you're listening for what's he trying to tell me. You don't
Mhm.
listen to the words he's saying. You're trying to figure out what's he trying to tell me because you speak that way in hints in your windows and you understand each other. So you think I'm saying something directly, and you're like, what's he trying to tell me? I'm like, I just said it. How many times do we have this argument? No, are you mad at me? What are you talking about? I'm just telling you, well, are you like, and all of a sudden just trying to figure out, and now I get a bit of a tone because I'm annoyed that I have to explain myself 3 times about the thing that I just said very directly. And just my tone being irritated goes, aha, she knows I know something is wrong. I know something is wrong. You're mad at me. And I go, oh. And then we get frustrated, walk away. And then she thinks, you know, I'm a jerk. And I think she's a little, right. And again, women don't listen. It's not because they're not smart. It's literally a mechanism that women have. They speak differently. And until we decode that, we're going to keep missing communicating. And that's a big part of my work, the communications. It's not the words that you use, is if you're not getting the results, you're not communicating. Just saying. Your turn.
Right. Well, no, and I think it is funny how we communicate. So lately the word that my husband and I have been working on is the word fine. He's like, stop saying that. And I'm like, busted. Okay,
Mm,
fine means shut down. Fine means I'm not
I
gonna
know.
talk.
Yeah,
Fine
yeah,
means I don't know how to communicate properly
yeah,
without castrating at this
yeah.
moment to say what I need to say. And so it's just funny that that is the word we are working on uh, this so far. So,
It's funny.
because it doesn't work, does it? Fine.
Well, no, I mean, like, I want to say this as a man, when she's not okay, I know she's not okay, right? I'm so plugged into her energy. Like, I can walk in the
Mhm,
house without even seeing her. I know something's wrong.
mhm,
I can
mhm.
feel it. That's in there, right? She's not okay. She's not okay. Now, I don't know what it is, right? And sometimes it's me, sometimes it's not me, right? I don't know because it happens without me being here sometimes that she's remembering something or now she's assuming something, right? Blah, 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 blah. So I walk in and something's off and then I'm kind of, hmm, 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 hmm. And then eventually, because I can't stand it, I'll go, you okay? I'm fine. I'm like, oh, now there's a problem. Now there's a problem. And it's directly at me. She's in the kitchen laughing right now.
Right.
She's
I
hearing me.
heard her. I heard
She's
her.
laughing, right? Now, seriously, like I'm concerned, right? You're not okay, which means I'm really not okay when you're not okay. Like I can't relax at home if you're all stressed out, anxious, and angry, right? I can't. So I go in to rescue. You okay? Fine. And then I kind of leave it alone, right? Because obviously she doesn't want to talk about it. She's not ready to talk about it. She's like, whatever. Give it some time, half hour, an hour, 2 hours. And it goes, so everything okay? Yep. It is not. Right? Or I get a uh-huh, uh-huh, right? It's just a tone. I could hear
It
that tone. I don't
is.
hear when I deliver it. So then we give it some more time because now I'm quite irritated because I'm trying to help her and she refuses to help me help her. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? She said now we're happy. So a third time, we'd all do it about 3 times. So like you want to talk about whatever's going on? Nope. Right? It start with fine, with to the no. Now what happens is I will now get mad because I am trying to help you. You refuse to help me. And actually now I'm realizing by the third time after I give you space to kind of relax, land, and maybe think about it, Now you're actually trying to make me pay. Now you're making me pay for the things I know nothing about because you are turning it on me to make me feel bad, even though I know nothing about it, right? That's not fair, ladies. That's really not fair. That's really messed up. So keep keep in mind, like, we want to help you. We want to rescue you out of whatever's feeling. But if you're gonna make us pay for it, now at that point, by the third time, now I'm angry. Now I'm gonna pull out. Now I'm ignoring you. Now I don't care, what you're mad about, because now you're gonna pay for making me the enemy or something I have no idea about. Think how insane that is, right? So again, this is the game that we all play if we're not clued in and we don't understand, we don't use the tools, or actually really act like grown-ups. You could be mad, ladies, and you could say, like, if you're not ready to talk about it, right? My wife and I came up with this code. Are you okay? I'm fine. I'm like, no. And then she'll go like this. I just need some time. Just need some time. Now I could take that, right? That's a communication. Like, I need some time. Like, don't make me talk. I can't. Right? Until she actually gives me the clear, right? Or I'll check in and okay, right? Like, she's not ready. Now I can respect that and have empathy for that, because I know when a woman's stuck in her feelings, she's stuck in your feelings, right? So I can't force it out of you. I'm not gonna, now you're gonna get mad. But to make me pay for it, like, you know, ongoing paying for something that I know nothing about, completely unfair. And this is when men pull out. They go to the garage, they go to Home Depot, and you think, see, he's a jerk, he doesn't care. No, you try it 3 times. Okay, your turn.
Well, it's just funny because really the words cultural nuances came up, for um, many of us have had the opportunity to travel and we go to different countries and there's
Mhm.
just different nuances. There's different traditions, there's different ways of doing things, there's different ways of saying things, different slogans. And I think that if we really got that in our brains, that men and women, we just both have a different way of communicating. And I think that that's why we really, women, just keep believing this nonsense that they don't have any power or any position or something, which is just ridiculous. When
Yep.
in reality, they're the ones in charge of managing the relationship. And that's why what your wife, and that is what I do, I do the exact same thing. I'm like, I can't even talk. I like
Yep.
time out. And it is very well understood. And every blue moon, I might have to explain a little bit more, babe, I just can't find the words right now.
Yep.
I don't want to castrate. I don't want to regret anything. I just need a little bit of time. I love you. I just am
Yep.
not, I don't even know how to speak what I need to speak.
Right.
And then like you said, his response is exactly the same. He's like, got it. I'm here when
Right.
you're, and that makes him, and it doesn't castrate him, because I think that doing the three-prong thing, which I've done many, many times, it's fine, whatever, fine. So and
Whatever.
it's just
Whatever. Oh.
whatever. I do
Oh.
whatever. And so, that is a blow off, and that is a form of castration. That's saying, look, I don't need you, I don't want you, I'm going to ignore you. And that's just cutting off affection, that's cutting off love, that's
Yep.
cutting off, even though you're not abandoning. I mean, let's just not be ridiculous, but there is that little tug of that, isn't there? There's that
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
tug of that, cut off.
And,
And so I think that being super fair, the female, and we've talked about this in every other podcast
episode. Yep.
is episode, is that communication, just really learning how to communicate properly. And I think that going to our core topic, this whole fear of commitment of women is really fear of losing themselves, right? In the wrong commitment, of course. But, in this conversation that we're having right now, fear of losing themselves because they don't have the words. And then if they just emotionally vomit and if they just spew it out, well,
Whoop.
gosh, right
Whoop.
now,
He
who lost
disappears.
themselves? They
Uh,
lost themselves. The
uh,
husband didn't lose you. You lost you, right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And then he pulls back, and then you think he's a jerk. You know what I mean? So, like, the dance is crazy, right? And again, I want to say this. I said it earlier, but I'm taking it home again. When you get mad at me and you refuse to help me, let me help you again. Not ready? Do this. I got it. I'll respect that. It's beautiful. I understand what that means. You're not ready. Cool. I'll give you some times. All right. Love you. But to try to make me feel bad because you feel bad and refuse to alleviate the situation, they can just have a conversation, on purpose, just to drag it out, just because now you want me to feel bad, like I made you feel bad, which I know nothing about it. That's the part that's not fair. That's the part that You know, men are like, why do you start some shit? Why do you start some fucking shit? And I'm trying to solve this, to help you and help me understand what I've done, what I said, what happened. Because sometimes it's not even about me, right? But I'll take it personally if you're not telling me, right? Because you're throwing the fine at my head, right? Anyway, so it's these are the games that are unfair, and this is how we literally come undone slowly, right? In the name of not understanding and not really ever learning to communicate. In my world, right, people who succeed in long-term relationships, they have each other's back first. They want the other one to win first, not me trying to change you, not me trying to tell you, make you act right, you know, make you to correct you because that makes me feel bad. No, they actually go, it changes the energy between them. Instead of pointing the finger at them, what do I need to say, do, be for you to be okay? Like, let me help. How do I help you be okay? Right. That's a whole different energy approach. Do you know what I mean? And that adult conversation can take place. Calm conversation can take place. If you're not calm, take your corners. Take an hour, take a day. I don't care, right? But like you have to come together calmly, and that's what again. That's what adults do. That's what people who succeed in relationship do. They don't make each other wrong. They don't point the finger. They want the other one to win. And that's what I call teamwork, right? Teamwork, two different energies, two different human beings, two different sets of hormones, two different, processing machines that confuse each other all the time. I get it, but how do we come together? I mean, having conversations. Anyway.
But I think it's so interesting how even in these long-term relationships, um, in my Queen Circle classes, it's fascinating. I love the older women because it's like, are they newly married or have they actually really been married for 35 years? And they
Mm,
have, right? And that whole letting go process, and it's called forgiveness.
mm,
Forgiveness in a relationship is just so incredibly challenging, but it really is the super glue. Forgiveness is not letting somebody off the hook. Forgiveness is not stating what occurred or what needs to be cleaned up. The forgiveness is just not, like you said, punishing that person,
right.
holding it against them.
Yep.
I'm constantly asking my husband for patience. I'm like, okay, I know I need to find the words. If you could please be patient. So now I've actually given him something to do. I've given a
Yep.
request. He
Yep.
gets to be my hero. I
Yep.
know he's there. And so it's just been a really, it's been a great testament to even during these tough times when things are really trials and tribulations, having these tools or having this way of being. I wouldn't even call it a tool. Forgiveness is not a tool. Wanting your
Yep.
partner to win is not a tool. This is just a way of being, isn't it?
Right. Like to
So,
really
but
show.
that goes back to the commitment issue. Women, are constantly worried that they are in the wrong relationship because we are constantly comparing to
Yep.
Susie, constantly comparing to the neighbor, constantly comparing. Well, how come she got new, shoes or those fancy shoes? I can never say the
Yeah.
names, guy's name, Louis Vuitton or something like
Louis
that.
Vuitton or Jimmy Shoes,
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, all these, they're beautiful, or the car, or the vacation, or whatever.
Well, how
And
come he
so
won't
when
open the
we,
door for me? Like my neighbor doesn't, like he's a gentleman and mine's not. And what do I like? I'm just saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
it
yeah,
does, but I mean, and so it's rarely, the commitment anxiety and the pressure and the tension is rarely about your partner or the person you're with. It
yeah,
is about your relationship with risk, pain, and your identity, right?
yeah,
And so, are you willing to take the risk to be vulnerable? Are you just so afraid of your bad decisions? That was you.
right.
You chose whoever hurt you. They didn't come and put a gun to your head and be like, hey, we have to date or we have to have sex or we have to do whatever. No, no, no. You invited them into your bedroom, right? And
Mm.
so women just have a tough time with that. And so they're afraid of pain. They're identifying themselves as whatever, no good, not smart enough, bad luck,
Victim.
right? Victim,
Yep.
I could never get a good man,
Right.
whatever. Well, just like I tell, everyone who takes the queen circle, if you want a king, then you have to be a queen. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, that's really it right there, right? And again, kings and queen work together, two different bodies, two different hormones, right? They're complementary to each other. They're not combative, they're not competing, right? Which is we live in a world of 50-50 and everybody's competing, men and women, especially against each other and everything else that goes in between. And that's what doesn't work, right? Teamwork, not partners. Partners in my world means 50-50. I've never seen that work. It does not work in relationships. I've never seen it work. But teammates, right? Teammates are very clear that we have different roles, and how do we dance together? How do we do it together, right? So that's my approach. But going back to forgiveness, most people refuse or resist forgiving because they think that by forgiving the other, it means that whatever they did that was hurtful, right, is okay. That's not
Mhm.
it. That's not
Mhm.
it. But people won't forgive because that implies that I'm letting it go and it's okay what you did. No, 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 no. You forgive them so you can be free of the pain that you torture yourself with,
Mhm.
right? That came in the situation. And so essential in order to not have the other one be like the enemy, literally. So we have to forgive each other for the things that when we, step in it. And again, because we all have different triggers, so we'll step in it with not knowing I'm stepping in it. But we have to clean that up. We have to talk about it. We have to, when you did this, is what happened to me, made me feel like this. I didn't like it. Is that what you meant? Because that's how I took it. Oh, what? But babe, that's not what I. Wait, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I said. That's what I was trying to. So you get an explanation when you approach somebody like this respectfully, or you get an apology because we mess up all the time. I do. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. That was important to you, and it went over my head. And like, because to a woman, right? When we forget stuff, when we're like kind of don't follow through the way she thinks, said, or even when I said I would, I forget, right? There's something about that that means that if he cared for me, loved me, respected me, he would not forget because I don't forget anything. That's a woman's mind, right? I'll forget anything. I'll forget things that happened in 1979. You know what I mean? Like you remember everything. So in that, expect us to be the same and make us wrong for not having a different brain. And I'm not excusing any of it. I'm saying when you bring it up, because we put our feet in it, we get a chance to apologize or explain, as
Mhm.
opposed to you assuming I'm a jerk or I didn't care, I don't love you, right? I don't want you part of my life. That's not it. That's not it. Yeah. And again, back to commitment, but
But it goes back to your teammate example because we both are imperfect. All of us are imperfect. And I think it's interesting how, women in particular want to hold on to it, want to hold on to the grudge, want to remember everything. That's one thing that I've done really great at. I just am like, what happened 5 years ago? I mean, I'm
yeah.
just trying to get through today, right? So it's like, and I acknowledge that I am imperfect. At the minute, and I'm not saying I don't do it, I do, but the minute that I start wanting to be angry, not forgiving, or hold my husband accountable for something he may or may not have even done, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Or he might have, I thought he should have done something different or so. I mean, come on, I'm not his mother. And so it's like, but then I have to remember all his patience with me and all his kindness and his love. And that's where that teammate concept comes back in because I'm going back to managing the relationship and saying, hey, how can we both win? How can we have this loving,
See?
long-term, fulfilling relationship that works for both of us? We're committed to each other. We ain't going anywhere. So why are we pretending?
Mm.
So it's and I think that another thing that comes up in this conversation and in the realm of commitment is that it is really hard to live with regret with the person that you're in regret with.
Oh,
Why?
why would
Right?
you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? You know what I
I
mean?
mean, but it's tough,
I know.
because he knows, he knows, and vice versa. And you're like, you can't even bluff this one. With your friends, you could play it off. Yeah, no, I didn't really do that. Oh, I wouldn't be that way. And my husband's like, yeah, yeah, you were,
Yep.
and vice
Yep.
versa. I'm like, yeah, you did. So you're staying in this commitment. So it's not fear of commitment. It is fear of actually being in regret and
Yep.
not knowing how to manage that and not only letting him off the hook, but letting yourself off the hook.
Ooh, girl. Amen. Like that's that, and that's the battle for some of us getting triggered, right? Like in my world, it's like I explain this all the time to clients, right? We call it the emotional triangle versus the rational triangle. Are you ready? It goes like this. I don't know if have we talked about this before? It's
No,
fascinating.
no, I
So
just
if you
laughing
think of a
already.
triangle, think of a triangle, right? So emotional people, men and women, do this, right? Something happened, you react, and you go, "Damn it!" Right? Like now you think something happened, you react, and you think.
Yeah,
You push that sent, email, you bitch somebody out, you kind of, right? That's
yeah,
being emotional, which
yeah.
creates a lot of chaos and destruction. Now, I invite everybody to think through one second, just take a beat. And what works better is called a rational triangle, which means something happens, you think about it, then you respond. You don't react, right? So reacting is emotional. And you don't react, you respond after thinking about it for a second. Is that really what happened? Did he mean that? Did she mean that? Right? I can understand I could hurt my wife's feelings by saying something for sure, doing something for sure, but I could also hurt her feelings by not saying something or not doing something. I try to explain that to a man. I did nothing and I hurt your feeling. I said nothing. Well, yeah, because you noticed my hair, you noticed my shoes, right? I get it. But you understand for us how kind of wild that is? Like, I did nothing and I hurt your feelings. I was just sitting here breathing. Oh, that's not enough. You should have noticed. You should have said something. Anyway, so again, that's kind of baffling, but this is where you go into, if we have each other's back, right? They kind of hurt my feelings. What to hurt feelings? Well, I just kind of got my hair done, and I do it for you, for me, for you. But like, and the fact that you didn't even pay attention and notice made me feel blah blah blah. Oh wow, right? And so, but again, we're focused typically on other things, right? We're not focused on you on that much. As far as we're focused on the world around us to survive, and of course, you're part of that. But the details of life, like your nails, your hair, the new dress, this is, I mean, for me, I make an effort to notice, understanding what it means to her. And again, that's kind of coming together, my way, her way, and how to meet in the middle. And my entire body work is, you never understand a man's ways. You can't, you don't have that, the body, they have the hormones. And same on the other side, you confuse the hell out of us in different way that you confuse it. How do we meet in the middle?
Right.
How do we meet in the middle? That's the work. That's so understand men more so you don't take everything personally. Understand women more so you understand what they need. I need so very little. We don't know what that means. Right? Help me. Right? And how do we meet in the middle?
Mhm.
I could do this all day long.
Well, and I think that that goes, back to um, that distinction between male and female. A male is there to protect freedom, provision, provider, protector, and which is really fulfilling what a female really wants, which is security. So
Yep.
the only way to have that is in a commitment. When we don't have those commitments and we live in fear and we're not vulnerable, and we as females are not managing the relationship. Instead, we're just like the triangle where we're
Yep.
reacting instead of not reacting and thinking. And in that communication, I think one of the things that it's not that the male and female, I mean, yes, we're different, but the problem is that we don't understand that. We're not even acknowledging that. And we just keep, especially women, men don't do this, as I have not ever met a man that does it. But women are like, well, gosh, why can't he just change? Why can't he just be more
Hmm.
like this? Why can't he be? And they're really saying be more like me or do it my way.
Right.
And so, but going back to conflict, the conflict, when we don't understand, one of the things that I know that I do, and I do recommend to females is before I get my feelings hurt, a lot of times, not all the time, but before I let my feelings hurt, I'll go, hey, babe, I know you really love me. I can tell you probably, you always have busy days. Could you just please explain what this meant, what you meant by this, so
Hmm.
that I can better understand your position? And that way, and I've never had to be, yeah, I was trying to be a dick to you. I mean, that's never happened, right?
Right. Right.
Never, never, ever.
Right.
It's always like, well, I was a little distracted, but what I was blah, blah. And then there's that
Yeah.
clarification. And then I get that security again. But that's because I'm managing the relationship instead of acting like a triangle. And I love how you go up, down, and then here's that continuum, isn't it?
Yep.
It's the
Yep.
continuum. We
Yep.
get to continue the relationship instead of going stuck, stuck,
Tick,
stuck,
tick,
stuck,
tick, tick,
stuck,
tick,
stuck,
tick,
stuck,
tick, 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 tick,
and then we
victim,
wonder why
victim,
the
blaming.
sound's the same. Ding, 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 ding,
You
ding.
got
We're just like little pinballs. So I think that that's really important to remember,
it.
especially for females. Ask for clarification. And
Yeah.
you can do that. And then go in timeout, right? If you don't like the
Right.
answer, then go in timeout. But ask for clarification.
So the way I do it, that I think is like, and again, I'm a linguist, so like the choice of words is super important in what you're trying to convey, communicate. You know what I mean? Like in all layers. But like, fine. We forget that forget the impact that words and the choice of words really have when we're trying to even say something that's obvious to
Mm-hmm.
me. But instead of like, please explain to me why you did that, said that, right? I go, I know you're really busy. I understand that. I love that about you. And you always like, take care of everything. However, when this happened, kind of, I took it like this. I get it hurt my feeling, right? Help me understand, babe.
Mm-hmm.
Help me understand words that are not attacking, it's not demanding, is I'm stuck over here. Help me understand what you're thinking. Now, you have to do this not a week later because he won't remember. Not because he's stupid, it's because he's got the things that hurt your feelings you will remember. But if I don't know that hurt your feelings, it kind of blends into the day, right? So you have to do this that day or the next day or so. Don't wait
Mm-hmm.
a week to bring something up because he won't remember and you'll go, what a jerk, because you're still stuck on it. Right, ladies, make it fair. Like make it again, set him up to win, right? Just set him up to win. You get your feelings hurt. You're responsible to clean that up because he's clueless until you say it to him. It's not fair to for him to be in a crap house just because you don't have the you don't have the you refuse to, you should know better and now you're hurt and it's his fault. Wait, well, he doesn't know. It's his no
Mm-hmm.
like you can't put him in a shit house, the doghouse without him knowing, right? At least because then again, he could explain or he could apologize.
Mm-hmm.
That's what adults do.
Well, but then this goes back to, a very incomplete and very non-positive commitment. Because
Mm.
when there's
Ooh,
this is where the loss of autonomy comes in for both. Because in this emotional chaos, the structured partnership, well, the structured team, the team where it
right?
works, is now
Disconnect.
separated
Yep.
because the man is going to pull away. He feels uncertain and unstable and
Right.
emotional instability. I've heard that men think when it's unpeaceful that there's a trap, there's something to look out for. Oh my God, I got to be on guard, right?
Yep.
And then the woman is just more nuts because he's pulled away, and like we started out with, and she's translating that as I'm not
Yep.
enough at
Yep.
some level, somehow, some
Yep.
way.
Yep.
And that lack of clarity, that lack all that emotional chaos really is unsupporting what she desires, which is security, love,
Right.
and
And to
because
bring him closer
right,
by not attacking him, but say, this is what happened to me.
right,
Right.
but she's the one causing it
Mm.
with all the drama. Now, I do
Oof.
know, and I think we've touched on this a little bit, and I don't want to really go down this rabbit hole, but I have seen more men that are dramatic. Like, I'm like, you know, and I really would like to comment on that for any man
Yes.
out there that is imitating woman and being dramatic and causing that emotional chaos. That doesn't work. As a matter of fact, it just rips out the car
Oh, yeah.
any hope, it rips the carpet out from underneath a woman.
Yep.
She's like going, and I've heard this over and over in class. She's like, well, what do you do when they're emotional? What do you do if they're the ones that are dramatic? So they're a nervous wreck all the time.
Yep.
They have no stability in their life. They have no place to go with their stuff. They
Yep.
have nobody to depend on. Because he's going to be a drama queen.
Yep. Yep.
Like, and
Yep.
two in the house. Holy cow, feel
Chaos. Yeah.
sorry for the children.
Seriously, no, I call it feminine men. Feminine men are emotional. Now, typically, there's a good reason for that. In the past, their childhood, no daddy, bad daddy, nobody to teach them to be masculine, raised by a mom who told him to be sweet and sensitive and use his feelings and talk to his feelings and be a nice guy, right? All that stuff castrates a young boy. So we need
Yep.
daddy energy, father energy to help boys, men, turn into like adequate masculine man, right? The proper application of masculine power, not dictatorship, not toxic, not a bully, right? But safety, protection to make women feel safe. So when a man is emotional like a girl, because like I said, you ladies run your lives through your feelings, we run our lives through our heads. That's the yin yang that comes together. I'll stabilize you when you're emotional. Do you know what I mean? So when a woman's a storm, I don't get into the storm the same. Like that, now we have a cyclone and
Terrible.
she will hate you for it, dude,
Right.
because you're actually creating more stress, more trauma, more confusion, and more unsafety because you're an emotional little girl, right? So stoic is the way to go. I call it like you're the mountain, she's the storm, because that happens. She's emotional, something, right? The storm comes at you, just freaking stand there, dude. Don't defend yourself, which is what we typically do, right? Men will do this if what hurt her feelings, I didn't mean to, I had nothing to do with it, I just kind of happened, like it's not my fault, right? Or you took it the wrong way. That's not what I meant, that's what I said. So the moment we feel attacked in the storm, we tend to defend ourselves, right? And trying to take the storm, emotional storm, and trying to make it logical. And let me tell you why you shouldn't be feeling this, honey, right? This is completely denying who she is in the moment, and the more you're trying to bring logic into an emotional situation, the more she wants to kill you. You know what I mean? So don't defend yourself. Don't get into the storm. Do not step in, to turn this to a cyclone. Just shut the hell up. Stand stoically. Let that storm come at you. Do not respond to it. The way I do it is like this. This is what I look like in a fight. Are you ready? It doesn't happen anymore because we've been together so long. But it looks like this. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. And eventually, because I'm not pushing back, energy drops dramatically, right? It's like a storm hitting a mountain. It just kills it, right? Not 3 hours, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, boom, it kills it, right? All I have to do is this. Stay connected. I'm right here. I'm listening. I'm hearing you. And I'm just letting you storm it out because it's frustration that has to come out. I get it. I get it, right? But I'm not going to step in that storm, right? For our sake. So I'll do this, right? And eventually, God, it's either the storm calms down, and typically there's tears on the other side of that because there's like, oh, a relief. Right now she's crying, right? And I'm just like there, going, wow, that was a lot. That was a lot,
Yes.
right? So
Right.
do you feel better? Do you feel better? Okay. So how do we get here? And everything's calm. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, shoot, that's what. I'm not sure, right? So stay present. And again, you may not be able to talk about it right then and then, or may not, but I do not get to make the storm worse. I'm the mountain in the storm, and that she could respect. And actually, it kills the storm really quickly, by the way. So men that are emotional, learn that somewhere in the past. Bad, like I said, but usually no masculine role model that's appropriate that taught them to be stoic, to be solid, right? To not to hold, basically it's like the riverbed for the flowing river in the middle, right? Like this is what men do. Again, the yin and the complementary is beautiful, right? And in that's how we actually kind of help each other through all these called life. Anyway, so
But I would imagine this is tough for men. And because all your life, if a ball's pitched at you, you expect to swing.
right,
Right. And that's what we're doing. We're throwing
right.
these balls.
Yeah.
And really though, the only positive or most intelligent, emotionally intelligent decision is to just let the ball stay on the ground.
Yeah.
Throwing it back,
I would say
defending
you
yourself.
catch it and put it down. You catch it,
Right,
put it down. This
exactly.
is not going to go anywhere. This is not going anywhere. I'm not going to
Right,
think, you know what I mean?
right.
There's
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
frustration. That's how we got to be here. I get it. But I'm not, again, most men, especially because I'll give you an example. Like this, I had this couple, they didn't have kids yet, right? It's their anniversary. Do you know what I mean? So she decided to make dinner at home with the good silverware and the good plates and the good napkins and all in the dining room. And right. So she spent all day just cooking but he's at work, he's supposed to get off at 6, so home like 30 minutes later, whatever. So she spent all day, the house is perfect, it smells good, the candles, all right. So kind of lovely. Just before he leaves work, his boss goes, he works in international trades. His boss grabs him and goes, dude, we have a problem with China. I need you to stay. Right. So he calls his wife going, okay, I'm stuck. I don't know how I'm going to be home, but there's a problem at work. She's like, what? He goes, I'm stuck. So I'll be home when I'm home. Right. Now, I didn't think it's going to be 2 hours. It ended up being 2.5 hours. Right. So he comes home. He calls her on the way home, like in the car, dead silent. He comes home. She's angry. She's mad. Right. She's hurt. Her feelings are hurt. The evening is ruined. Right. And so as she's kind of grumpy with him, he's like, well, you understand that's not my fault. That's had nothing to do with me. Like my boss, something happened in China, whatever, right? And she's so, uh-huh. He goes like, why are you mad at me? Like, I did not do this to you. It's life. Uh-huh. Right. And then he's trying to defend himself and kind of deflect the fact that, he can't apologize because he didn't do it.
Right.
This is a big thing with men. We can't apologize if we're not at cause. Or that we made a mistake we didn't mean to, right? And so the less he apologized because she was hurt, like I said, meet her in her, in her feelings so she can relax and as opposed to you trying to tell her she's wrong about her feelings, dumbass, right? And he says, well, I'm not, how am I supposed to? I'm like, just breathe a second. No, that hear me out. Can you say that you're sorry that her feelings were hurt? Not that you did it, not that you had fault in it, that you had any play in this, but are you sorry that she got her feelings hurt just for circumstances? Well, yeah, I will say that. Just say that. You didn't do it. You're not, admitting fault. You're meeting her where she's at.
Right.
Right. I'm sorry that happened. I'm really sorry the evening was ruined. I'm sorry that, I, you know, the circumstances happen.
Yeah.
Can we have the rest of the evening, well together? It's just like it's done. Do you know what I mean? Now he meets her new feelings. She feels heard and seen. Right. And then like it takes 15, 20 minutes. That's what it takes for a woman to kind of recalibrate a little bit. And for come back, mine comes back in 15 minutes and she's like, so like, do you want some wine? My girl's back and we fixed it, right? But if I try to defend myself, if I try to make her wrong for her feelings, right? This is opposite of being supportive as far as a woman's concerned.
Sure. Well, no, and it is. It's almost like an alignment. It goes back to the team. We're both on the team.
Yep.
You know, being grateful that your husband is such a hard worker and is so valuable at his job that his boss needs him, and that, being grateful. And there's nothing wrong, once again, with saying, I'm just disappointed. I was so looking forward,
Yep.
articulating, I was so looking forward to being with you, and I have a surprise. And then hopefully he would be like, I'm so disappointed too. I know it's such an important day and I'm coming home as that alignment almost,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yep.
not
Yeah.
saying add emotional drama, but the alignment that of the understanding of the disappointment. Of course it's disappointing. You've
Right.
been looking forward to it all day.
Yeah. But he thought when I got home, understanding what had happened, it had nothing to do with it. She'd be like, okay, okay. But like,
Right.
no, that's not how it works. Your feelings are hurt.
Right.
So now how do you bring it? Anyway, so we could do this all day long, but that's again the yin yang, the opposite, the complementary. We're completely different. But
Yep.
I always say, we get to heal each other. We had to kind of bring the part that we don't have to the other, right? So again, as opposed to making the other one wrong, you know what I mean? How do we come together? How do we come together? How do we come together? That's the magic.
Well, and I think in in commitment, and the chemistry always pulls us in, and unless it's an arranged marriage, but anyways,
Oh,
and
even those work out really good.
compatibility,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does, yes. And compatibility, that commitment to the win-win for the team
That's it.
keeps us in that commitment. You know, I'm building something with you. I'm here to celebrate this day with you. And it doesn't matter if it starts at 7 or 8:30. So, and we can always make it last all night long. How about that? Just
Hello,
shake it
hello,
up, right?
hello, right? And reconnect. So back to this document real quick. Like in the end, men will kill themselves to keep everybody safe and protected, and we're a duty, right? A natural male, masculine men, feminine men don't do that as well, or at all sometimes. But a duty for me to take care of my family, my loved ones, my wife, the responsibility of all of it, right? Like the household, the money, all the logistical stuff is on me, right?
Mhm.
And after I'm all done with this, I just want to come home and recharge and recover, which means I need peace and harmony in a space. I need to just feel welcome here. And I call it a soft place to land. At the end of the day, I've been a warrior all day. I need a soft place to land. Not a
Mhm.
place where now I'm being, combative. Somebody's being combative with me because I didn't do this right or that right, or they, you know what I mean? Like that's opposite of what works. And for ladies, often is the the fear, the lack of connection, right? 'Cause as men, I'm just gonna say it's not on purpose, but we're so caught up in the machine of life. Often
Mhm.
we forget to be present with you. We forget to um to really acknowledge that all the thousands of things you do around the house and outside of the house and with the children. Like, we kind of like, I do my part, you do your part, and we kind of don't, we forget to acknowledge and sort of be appreciative to each other for that. So women take it for granted, right? And
Mhm.
then they start like feeling unsafe because he's not talking enough, and he changed. He doesn't want to talk about his day. He doesn't want to share his day. Doesn't want to hear about hers. Take it all that personally, right? Like so again, his way, get it. Her way, get it. Yeah, in the middle. Somewhere in the middle is the dance. So, but you also have to really understand. Yeah, I get this. My favorite part that I keep saying to my clients, I have the owner's manual. Ladies have the owner's manual for men. Why we do what we do, what compels us, why we like the way we process information and feelings, like what motivates us, completely a different world than yours. But when I explain to ladies how a man function, his hormonal system that pulls him into behaving a certain way, reacting a certain way, and his instinct, get this, about 50% of everything you take personally goes away.
Right.
That's a different life, just in that.
Mhm.
Understanding these creatures that you don't understand us, and vice versa, right? Like men don't understand what's going on with you. They don't understand safety. They don't understand connection to the level you do. They don't understand, she needs to be seen and heard and touched and talked to, right? Again, the connection that she
Mhm.
questions every day, right? We don't question the commitment. I married her. What else does she want? What do you mean? I married her. Like, what's the problem? What do you mean, do I love you? You see everything I do? I come home every night. I work like my butt off. I pay for everything. I manage the house. What do you mean? Look what I do. But a woman needs to hear it, right? So, like, that whole yin yang is so ridiculously opposite. How do we meet in the middle, right? So, a woman needs to feel connected, to feel safe, to be
Mhm.
really in flow, to be feminine, to be happy, to be lovely, to be happy to see him at the end of the day instead of, you know, God, I had a guy call me one time. He goes, "My lovely wife for 10 years. She used to be so lovely and charming and happy to see me." He says, "Now I come home." She looks at me, she goes, "Oh, it's you." And she goes
Oof.
in the kitchen. He goes, "I don't understand. I do everything right. I come home every night. I work my butt off. I don't cheat. Provide everything." You know what I mean? I go, "Yeah, she feels disconnected. Take it for granted. You don't appreciate her. You don't talk to her enough. That makes her feel upset." Right? I had like 8 things without even talking to her. He's like, "Oh, they need that, huh?" I'm like, "Huh?"
Yep.
But again, we forget sometimes we're more intensive in the beginning, then we get into these life rut, I call
Yeah.
it. We forget each other. We can't.
Mhm.
I could do this all day long. So sorry. I
Well,
just
and
went on.
that's why, in summary here, we've got this commitment, a commitment of marriage. And when we choose wisely, and even when we don't choose as wisely,
Yeah.
it is simply, remembering that none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. And when you choose to build with someone imperfect, it really just amplifies your growth. It amplifies who you are. Staying in that commitment, avoiding commitment doesn't protect you. It
Oh,
just delays your growth. Love does require a risk. And I ask myself this often, what am I willing, what is the price that I'm willing to pay for something real? And yes, it hurts and it's tough and it's, especially when life comes at you and hits you and you might
yep.
not agree, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, in that commitment, being with someone who's imperfect, me, being with someone who's imperfect, my husband,
Ooh,
and coming together, in that commitment, bringing out the best in me, bringing out the best in him, coming together to create that long-term loving, fulfilling
yep,
relationship.
yep,
That is, I'm just, there's not much, it's worth every struggle. It's worth every growth. It's worth
yeah,
every wall that I've let down. It's
yeah,
worth every vulnerability chance that I've taken, whether it worked or not, whether my
right.
feelings got hurt or not. Because at the end of the day, I know that I would not know the love that I have today. And I would not have the relationship today if I was not willing to set aside my arrogance, set aside my judgment, and just be in a state of love, forgiveness, and grace, such that, loving, like the commandment says, love others, right? It's not
Yeah.
even about loving myself because
Preach.
when
Yeah.
I love others, it's just by default that I'm loving
Mm,
myself.
mm. And understanding, I get this all the time. Men and women will say stuff like, "I need to work on myself. Like I need to find myself." And sure, I get it. Do your work. However, you're only going to find yourself when you get in a relationship because the person in the relationship is a mirror of you. When you're unreasonable, when you're out of control, when you're like whatever, like this a complete mirror. They'll see them respond right and back and forth. So it's in the relationships that actually we grow. Doing your
Absolutely.
trauma work, absolutely fine. You have to, I get it. But to stay isolated because you're working on yourself and you're doing your best life and all that kind of stuff, thinking that you're going to get settled over here and then come into a no, because the collision and the teaching, the learning all comes in the dynamic. So do your work, but find yourself in relationships so you could grow and understand it's in that and the challenges come with that, the opposite, the polarity, the yin yang that is completely the opposite. If we both want each other to win, you see, we both have each other's back. If we're in it together for the long term, it's a very different approach to like conflict and hurt feelings, right? It's just we respect each other in that and want the other one to win, and together we all win.
Yep.
I could do this all day long, darling. That was amazing. I love you. I love the part that you bring that I can't say, right? As a man, the things I can't say, right, and vice versa. So
And
I
vice
think
versa.
you and I is a beautiful cocktail, and we're gonna do more and more and more of this. So again, we're coming on at 11:30 Pacific every other
Week.
Friday, every other
Right.
Friday. So you can see us coming, like I said, on live on Facebook on my side. We're trying to mix the channels so you can go on both sides, Facebook and YouTube. We'll work it out. But for now, like I said, come look for us, right? So
Yes.
relationship real talk with Dr. Harmony and Andre Paradis. Until next time, darling. Last words?
Well, I didn't want anybody to forget about